They say if you want a story, then you gotta go to the horse's mouth. Well, Ty Simpson himself, yes, the Ty Simpson, confirmed personally that Miami offered him more than $6 million to transfer next year. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ACC Uprising. We got a good one today, a follow-up on the Ty Simpson video from a couple of days ago, in which I shared reports that Ty Simpson had been offered $6.5 million smackaroos to make his way down to South Florida and become a Hurricane. That prompted quite an emotional and unhappy response from Miami fans, which frankly confused me. Because if you have the money to spend, why would you be embarrassed or angry that other people knew it? Or, well, I got accused of being a sappy journalist sharing false narrative. If you have the money to spend, the NIL era is all about spending money. Carson Beck got $4 million last year. If you got to pay to get the #1 quarterback out there, then go pay to get him. That's a good thing. You have the capital to do it. A lot of teams wish they did. But I digress. Before we get into this video, guys, make sure that you do hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. We cover every single team across the conference here at ACC Uprising. It just so happens that this video is about Miami and Ty Simpson because that's the big news out there in the college football landscape. So Miami fans, the news has been confirmed, and I'm going to jump into these reports more. Again, we're going to get direct quotes from Ty Simpson himself in a shocking act of transparency. Normally, numbers are kept a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Players don't go public with them all the time, but we do have that here. So as we go through this, make sure you jump down to the comment section below, leave me your thoughts, and let's get into it. So credit to On3 senior insider Chris Lowe for this story. Very well written. I'm going to go over some of the key points, give you a couple standout quotes, but if you want to read the full story, I definitely encourage you to do so. So here is the timeline according to Ty Simpson himself. And I'm going to fix my mic just so we get this right. According to Ty Simpson himself, Miami and Tennessee both offered him $4 million to transfer there. Keep in mind, this is in the period where it doesn't seem like he's coming back to Alabama, but he hasn't officially declared for the NFL Draft, which now, by the way, he has filled out the papers. He will be in the NFL Draft in April. Okay, so that is officially done and dusted. He will not be back in college football. But the start of the timeline is Miami and Tennessee both offer him $4 million. Ole Miss found out and called him up and said, hey, dude, if it takes $4 million, we got $4 million for you. Hang up the phone. Then all of a sudden, he gets a new call from Tennessee. Hello, Ty, we got $5 million for you. So that's the big offer. Miami hears this. They hear that Ole Miss has matched the offer. They hear that Tennessee has gone up to 5. They say, we're dropping out. We gave Carson Beck 4 last year. We're sticking at 4. That's our maximum. They turn their attention to Sam Leavitt. According to On3, the #1 player, not just quarterback, the #1 player in the entire transfer portal. That whole situation plays out a little bit. Sam Leavitt is kind of just speed dating everybody in the country. I mean, the guy went to Kentucky, for goodness sakes. Sam Leavitt ultimately ends up choosing LSU, which Tennessee is now trying to flip because they were unaware he was going to commit, but Sam Leavitt chooses LSU. Miami then goes back to Ty Simpson and calls him and says, hey, we now have $6.5 million for you. And again, this is coming from Ty Simpson himself. There was a quote, I forget exactly what he said, but it was something to the effect of they turned their attention to Sam Leavitt, and once that was done, they came back to me. They offered me more money, and he said that his parents made the comment, we haven't made $6 million between us since we got married. So that $6 million plus figure is confirmed by Ty Simpson and by Ty Simpson's parents, effectively. So Ole Miss calls him, and they also say they would match the $6.5 million offer. That's a big part of this that I did not previously know, but it seems like Ole Miss was willing to go really high for Pete Golding's first full year in charge. Here's a quote from Ty Simpson himself. I really felt good with my decision to go pro, but that amount of money to play college football again for what amounts to about 8 months makes you stop and think. I remember my parents telling me, here's the quote I was talking about. I remember my parents telling me that $6 million was more than they had made the whole time they had been married, but the thing they wanted most for me was to be happy. Later on in this story, another quote from Ty Simpson reads, Kalen DeBoer and Coach Grubb have been so good to me. I'm sure they were wondering what was going on because they wanted a decision from me last Thursday so they could start building their roster for next year. I was honest and told them what I'd been offered, but that I just couldn't do it because of everything I stood for and what Alabama had meant to me and the legacy I built there. everybody would just remember me as the guy who took all this money and went to Miami or Tennessee for his last year. But I was a captain. I would have lost everything I built at Alabama. Let me just stop here. Fans are smart. They know the modern climate, which again, going back to the comments on the last video, and I'm not ever discouraging you all from expressing your opinions. Please, that's not what I'm saying. Don't misconstrue this. But people know the modern climate. People know guys got to get paid. The top prospects, the top transfers, the top recruits, they're getting paid. Again, Carson Beck got $4 million. AJ Dybantsa in basketball, which doesn't generate as much money as football does, he got $8 million from BYU for 1 year. So people know the modern climate. If Alabama wasn't offering what Miami was, or even close to it, because keep in mind, this timeline starts with Miami and Tennessee offering $4 million. So if that is where we are starting, I am to assume Alabama offered less than 4. Let's just call it 3. And that's a hypothetical number. I do not know the number. I know he said he'd made less than $1 million in NIL his entire time at Alabama because he was only a starter for 1 year. He didn't come in with much prior experience. So let's just call it 3 million from Alabama, which would be tripling the 1 million he had made, right? Let's just use those round numbers. So what I don't understand is Ty Simpson, fans are smart. They know if you're being offered $3 million and Miami comes to the table with $6.5 million, who is going to fault him for taking a more than 200% or doubling his money? More than doubling his money to go play 1 year of college football for the team that might be the reigning national champions about a week from now, less than a week, or regardless, whether they win the national championship or not, might win the national championship again next year. Because if you're paying that type of money to Ty Simpson, you would assume he's going to be one of the best players in college football. You would certainly hope that. He's not listed in Heisman odds anywhere because, again, it's now official he's going to the NFL. But if Ty Simpson were to come back, you can bet he would be right at the top of Heisman odds. So I think, I'm not saying that he made the wrong decision, and I'm also not one to tell him that because this is his decision. He's where he is in life on his own back. Who am I? But that evil Ty Simpson picture that he has painted in his head if he transferred to Miami, I think if he goes there and does a good job, people would have said, that dude is a winner. If he goes there and plays a great year, he would have been drafted first overall. And they would have said, wow, Miami they're the landing spot if you want to get picked first in the draft. I don't agree with this. He would have destroyed his Alabama legacy. Anyway, that's just how I see it. If you feel differently, let me know. Ty Simpson last year finished second in the SEC with 3,567 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Amidst all of this stuff going on with all the big guy NIL offers, he actually said the closest he ever was to transferring was back after the 2024 season. He is from Martin in Tennessee, and he grew up a Volunteers fan, and he said he almost thought about going to Tennessee, but Nico Iamaleava didn't enter the transfer portal until spring, so ultimately he didn't. According to Simpson, he spoke to 18 NFL teams, all but one of them had a first-round grade on him. And that plays into this because where you are drafted obviously determines how much money you make on your rookie contract. In the video I posted the other day, I saw a mock draft that he was projected to go 21st to the Steelers, and I believe that equaled out to about $20 million over 4 years on his first contract, which is obviously $5 million per year. And it changes. I think his first year he was going to make $3.5 million, and it was going to increase from that point on. But point being, even at that average value of $5 million, obviously the 6.5 more from Miami, or 6.5 from Miami is more. 6.5 from Ole Miss too, because he said they matched the offer. That's also more. But I wanted to get this video out there just because I wanted to confirm the reports. Not me personally, but give you more information. Ty Simpson confirming. Whenever I come to this channel and I say, these are what the reports are stating, I'm going to be very intentional. I say where the reports are coming from. I say who the source is. That was another thing some people in the comments were saying, you can't find me one article that said this. Well, in my video, I said, whoever it was, I forget who I referenced, but I said On3 said this. I said CBS Sports said this. Wherever I get these reports from, I will say them in the video so that you know where the information is coming from. And if you want to dispute that and say, I don't believe that report, okay, that's one thing. But I'm not coming here to just make things up. I'll be very intentional in saying this is reported information, this is my belief, this is my perspective, etc., etc. But we are getting to the end of the video here. I mostly just wanted to come here and confirm this story. So now we know where the bar is in the modern NIL world. And also, you know, there's going to be conversations about who a lot of these teams are looking for a quarterback. I mean, Ole Miss is in the market for a guy. Tennessee's in the market for a guy. Miami fans, how are you feeling about your roster heading into next year? What would you like to see this team do? Make sure you throw it down in the comment section below. But I'm going to head out of here. I appreciate y'all rocking out here at ACC Uprising.